Bonjour, buenos dias, hello, and welcome everyone to the fourth episode of MSP Unfiltered. Today, we've got with us a very special guest, Antony Diaz. I think he does not need a lot of an introduction, but for those of you that don't know him, Anusia, please do the honors.
Uh, I'm I'm sure our viewers have heard enough about our speaker Antony Diaz, but still we can never have enough of rambling about this awesome personality. He happens to be our first gold student partner on MSP Unfiltered, which makes this stream even more special. Anthony defines himself as a young, passionate who makes ideas come to reality in order to improve our lifestyle. Talking a little more about our boy Anthony, he also happens to be a TEDx and WE speaker, as well as he is the co-founder of Tute Indesita and UVault. He will be sharing with us his journey as well as his lessons that he learned from UVault and his experience building Tute Indesita. Over to you, Simran.
So, thanks a lot for joining us today, Anthony. We're very grateful for you for your time because we've taken it for the second time, really. So, yeah, thanks a lot.
It's my pleasure to be with you guys. And thank you for the invitation.
You're
We
most
couldn't,
welcome.
yeah,
It's
we're most
really our
welcome.
Thank you for
privilege, to be
taking up
honest.
the invitations that we gave you. Like, it's an honor to have you in our show.
It definitely is. I mean, we're
Absolutely.
it is our motive to bring the stories behind the most loved and the most successful people in the program here. And I think when we talk about loved and successful, you'd definitely be one among the top five in the entire community.
Absolutely.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
So, I mean, we've given an introduction for you, but if you were to introduce yourself as someone new, then how would you go about it? Could you introduce yourself to the audience, maybe?
Like I will say, I am a young student, very passionate about mathematics from Colombia that moved to Canada with his family almost 8 years ago. And since I am here, I have been developing different projects and being involved in different projects that has allowed me to represent my country, both Canada and Colombia, in national and international competitions. Uh, as you mentioned, I have been founding some startup, and the impact of those startups has made me recognize of the multiple recognition as young student entrepreneur, as the Medal of Honor of the National Assembly of Quebec. Most recently, I went to India, to New Delhi, and I was with you guys. Uh, but also I was representing Quebec government in the World Sustainable Summit. So it was a great experience. My first time in Asia, actually.
Wow.
Oh,
Awesome.
yeah, you were here. You were here just in time for the India summit. It was amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
I I had
Yeah,
the
And
good
we
fortune.
arrived the
going
same
after
day
the India.
at the India Summit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was literally a 2 hour difference between when Anthony arrived and I had to leave. Yeah, no, it was amazing meeting you. I did get to spend not a lot of time as compared to somebody else on this stream who just can't stop talking about how much fun he had to showing you the entire city of Delhi.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we had a lot of fun, in all honesty. And I mean, the day just after the India Summit, the event we did at the Microsoft Gurugram office, that was an unbelievable experience, just having you over. And yeah. So,
Yeah,
I mean, if
I
we
mean,
get into your story, to be honest, I think a big part of your story that has always stood out for us is your entrepreneurial journey. So,
you did
that's
mention
something
that you're
that,
like the youngest entrepreneur. Oh, wow.
yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
So we'd really love to get into your entrepreneurial story.
sure. I started my first project when I was in high school. Um, it's something called by now UVault. that you maybe heard. And how this start was amazing because it was a high school science project at the time. And when we present the idea first to our teachers, they were not really enthusiastic because they believe it was impossible to do it, or if it is possible, it's already a big company working on it. So they recommend us to switch and do something else. So we start to take online courses. We start to watch YouTube videos. As people on the MSP community do to learn new stuff, we start to ask some mentors, and like that, we built a functional prototype in 5 months. That we came back to the school with a functional prototype. It was a surprise for everyone. After that, I want to give it to another level. Uh, we with my best friend we start to learn how is the entrepreneurial career, surrounding ourselves with people who have more experience, learning from their experience. And 1 year ago, I mean, in 2017, we launched a Kickstarter campaign. It's a crowdfunding campaign,
Mm-hmm.
and it was successful. We received more than 200 200 Canadian dollars, and 200,000. I mean, um,
There's
That's an
there's a huge
inflated
difference.
cost.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's an inflated cost.
we received venture capital funding. Uh, and it was amazing because we started to collaborate with people from all around the world, the manufacturing Asia. We received to have a lot of order in Japan. So it was my first experience to collaborate with people from different part of the world. Also
Mm-hmm.
because my team, it was from people from more than 11 nationalities. So it was amazing to have this global community around us.
Yeah. And I mean, of course, the Verge article and everything. I mean, that's always something that's, you search your world, you've got so much amazing stuff coming up. It's
Yeah.
it's unbelievable. And I,
Mm-hmm.
I remember, just before you'd landed, and well, of course, that day, that time we'd been very busy planning for our event the very next day. But following that, when we met up once again in Delhi, I remember going through that Verge article properly before, because I mean, I was properly awestruck at that point of time, to be honest. Yeah. And I remember, I mean, you were featured in quite a few Indian journals as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it
You
was
know,
surprising. It's thanks to my team to make it possible and to take the contact and to spread the news. I was happy.
yeah,
Yeah, but that's just, it's actually a tip of the iceberg if we're talking about the fame that you brought you. So, I mean, what kind of a change or shift did that kind of fame bring to your life?
I will say it allowed me to have a connection with a higher network that allowed me to contact people that before I thought it would be impossible to contact.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I continue to be myself to do the project because I have the passion to solve problems. Like I say at the
Mm-hmm.
beginning, I'm doing mathematics, and what I love about math is to solve problems, to find a simple and beautiful solution for a same problem. Um, that's what we try to do. Um, the awareness in different articles around the world have bring me the opportunity to connect with other entrepreneurs in different part of the world to share experience and to learn a lot.
Mm-hmm.
and again with such kind of a life, definitely, I think you would have quite a bit of a trouble at times, managing the schedule since you're still a student and with so much work coming up. So how
A
exactly
high
do you
school
manage your?
student. I mean, we
I mean,
starting with high
yeah,
school.
you
Yeah.
started U-boat in high school, and looking at how
Actually,
it grew.
before we go into the entire journey of how after you Vault happened, maybe we can talk a little bit about how you got the idea for you Vault. You did mention that it came up in high school, but like, what was the motivation behind you Vault?
You must have a backstory, right? Some
Uh-huh.
backstory
Yeah,
that encouraged you. We'd love to hear that.
I would say when we present U-Ball at the beginning, our goal was to create a battery that harvests my body energy, the energy around me, to charge my phone. Why? Because I was always without battery, and all my friends knew that. So we started looking what is the best way to do it. And with my best friend, James Managat, started to think, okay, what if we use thermal energy? Okay, it is enough. We need to combine. Okay, what if we use solar energy? We started looking forward and we create a prototype that used those different types of energy. But it was amazing because we take online course from MIT who are free, so you can take it too. Uh, we watch YouTube videos to learn how to do, for example, the printed circuit. At that time, we didn't have a machine, we didn't have budget, so we did that in the garage and with a Sharpie and say and error. Like every time we need to like do it again, and it was super cool because it teach me how to be not only curious but also how to uh, develop with what you have. Not wait for money, but try to do with anything that you have around you.
That's
This
I
is
think
so
that's
cool, you know, a
something.
garage invention. So, following the lines of Hewlett Packard, Apple, Steve Jobs, we have Anthony Diaz, the next great garage inventor. Yeah,
And we're talking to him right now. We have the privilege of hearing his story before it's become, well, it is larger than life already, but well, we were
yeah,
privileged to be here, and we have the MSP program to thank for that, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, thanks for being an MSP, Anthony. That's something we
yeah,
can say.
No, it's my pleasure to be an MSP student partner because you guys are amazing too. Be part of this global community. It allows us to connect with people who share the same passion for technology, same curiosity, and that also that brings different values that complement the program and that help us to grow. Like I have been learning a lot from people from different part of the world. As you know, I have been flying around presenting, uh, like enjoy the opportunity to be in different missions around the world as Bolivia, Brazil, Colombia, to share about the program and to meet with the student partners around the world. So that's amazing.
yeah,
Yeah.
Sure.
absolutely.
I mean, just because we've embarked on the topic of being an MSP and the student partner program, can you tell us how you got to know about the program and how you went about
Started.
becoming an MSP?
It was super cool because I got the opportunity to know about the program when I was in Hack Harvard in Boston. I was doing a hackathon. At the time was Susan Ibach, who were in the Microsoft stand, and she was presenting the program, and it was a lot, but a lot of people surround her because they want to talk with her and to be part of the program. And to be honest, I didn't knew anything about the MSP program at that time. But the first night of the hackathon, I started looking to understand the program, to understand what was about, and I saw that I like it. So at the second day, she was doing a presentation, and after her presentation, I was like backstage, and I started to talk with her. She told me, "Okay, let's take a coffee later." We took a coffee, and at the end of the conversation, she told me like, "Okay, you are in. I will send you the information Monday. So welcome to the program." I was like, "What?" Later on, I understood that there is a process that you need to follow and everything, but I am very grateful that that connection helped me I, to see that we share values and that it was a big potential to work together.
Yeah, I mean, uh, that is a
So
testament to how amazing your journey and how amazing and how much of an addition to the program you are in itself, because all of us have to go through the application process, some of us multiple
Yeah.
times, just to be here. So
yeah,
I mean, we
and I
don't need
mean,
to say anything.
and when you talk about Susan, I believe was also working on the Python for Beginners series for Microsoft with Christopher Harrison. And just in this, I think maybe today or in these last few days, she's just joined as the head of Amazon Future Engineer Canada. So
Wow.
Mhm.
we're talking about.
Yeah, we
So
weren't talking
Anthony
normal.
was impressing from a very early age. Yeah.
Yeah, and
So,
I
something that
mean,
I want to like give
but it's
away
not hard to believe, is it? It's
is
very easy to believe. Having spoken to
Yeah.
him twice in the last 2 weeks, we're all blown away. So we can only imagine
Yeah.
somebody having met him in person and heard his ideas and his ideologies. I mean,
yeah.
it's pretty natural, let's be honest.
I
So,
was
Yeah.
Anthony, how much were you into community when you first, before joining the MSP community, were you into the community field, or it was the first time you entered into any community thing in your life?
no, I was very active in the community part before. Like when I came to Canada, I didn't speak English nor French,
Oh,
but
wow.
I had the passion for science, so I create a community online to share news story about science, and that gives me opportunity to be in a radio program where I was communicating here in Quebec, in Canada, about the science news, about the events and things in Spanish. So like that, we can inform to immigrants what was happening here in their native language. After that, with you, well, we did the same. Like more than building a product, we built a community for university with university students. I had the honor to coordinate people from Stanford University, from MIT, from Toronto University, uh, and from different universities in Colombia who were part of the ambassador group of UWorld. And like that, we finance some events like Microsoft do with us right now. Like with UWorld, we finance events to talk about sustainability, um, uh, renewable energy projects. So it was very interesting, and I had quite a little experience, but I have quite experience before joining the MSP program.
That's
So you
awesome.
did mention running events. We're also excited we're speaking at the same time. You just mentioned running events, and just a few minutes ago, you discussed having flown literally all over the world, presenting your countries essentially. So, there's one presentation that you've done in multiple places, the Hacks for the Studentpreneur, that you've also done online, I guess, a few months ago. So, can you tell us a little more about that and your experience actually delivering that particular talk in 11 different countries, I believe.
I mean, 6 or 7, I think. And
So,
in fact, one of them was in India.
Definitely
When
was.
yeah,
what is super cool about that is when I was thinking, okay, what I can bring to the table, what I can share, and something that has helped me a lot was to find a way to not go to the traditional way because
Hmm.
we are young, but to search for hacks and to use some hacks to be able to uh, make it know in the community and also to make your projects come true. So that's why when I create this presentation, Hacks for Studentpreneur, I was recopilating all the resources that I used in the past. And I say, okay, let's put it together in a presentation uh, and try to find what are the global elements that are in common so it can
Mhm.
apply in different regions. And before I go to a country to deliver that message, I look to see what is the reality. I try to speak with people there to understand the context and
Mhm.
to adapt the presentation so I can share resources that are useful there, not only for me here.
So even though you do this presentation at multiple places, it's always customized for the situation of the country.
I try to do my best to do that and to have the discussion that we did in Delhi after the presentation to listen from students who are there to understand their perspective and to know which element can I adapt for a next time.
That's really
Yeah,
thoughtful. I mean, making sure that you connect with the audience in every space and every walk of life. That's really thoughtful.
it was genuinely amazing. I mean, I remember sitting in that room where that session was going, and it was unbelievable.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I remember that, we also had a panel talking about how much the student partner program particularly meant to us and our vision, our own plans, our desires of how we want to see the program go forward. So when we talk about the program, what has the essence of the program been for you all this while? Something that has always remained constant for you.
Uh, I will say that for me, the program we are in a community, so it's not about me, it's about us. Uh, and how can we connect with the community? How can we share? And how can we grow as a person? Like receiving. And if we all had that same mentality, we are all gaining something. And we are watching that during the pandemic, as we see a lot of people doing events online, a lot of students planning to share their knowledge, and we assisting to that. We are growing ourselves. We are
Yeah,
connecting with them to know, okay, who can help me, who can help me later, uh, depending of what I am doing. Um, that incite you to share also your knowledge because you know that you are not the only one. For me, that's the basic.
So essentially, the community does provide a sense of belonging to like-minded people. I mean, like-minded or in a way, people that have similar goals when it comes to impacting. You've had quite a great impact in terms of you Volt. You literally revolutionized energy, right? So tell us a little more about your new project that you're working on right now. So yeah, tell us a little about that.
Sure. Like in this pandemic, I have been thinking about how can I bring back uh, using what I have been learning. Um, Talking with my grandparents in Colombia, they have a small business in Colombia. It's not too small, but because it's old and it have tradition in my city, but they have not connection in the digital world. Um, I decide, okay, let's help them. I create the social media for them. I put it in different websites and people can review it. People can find their numbers on Google Maps. It will be easy. Um, During that process, I learned that there is a lot of small business in my city who doesn't have digital connection, and they are now closing their doors because they don't have sales, because everyone is in quarantine, like in India, like in Nepal. So I decided, okay, what is the simplest way to connect the customer and this small business who live then day by day? And I see that everyone in Colombia use WhatsApp. I say, okay, let's create a bot in WhatsApp where people, as us as citizens, can write to the WhatsApp what we need, and I can send the message to the nearest commerce uh, this thing, and if they have everything, they can send to the person. Uh, I am very grateful because in less than 1 month we have a 200. We have already like 200 community. How to say? Like there is more than 200 people who have used the platform, who is
Ah,
WhatsApp. There
100
is
active
no
users
app.
is awesome.
They don't need to download anything.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we are in communication with people from the government who are interested to implement in other cities. We are working right now with Alibaba. I don't know if you're familiar, uh,
Yeah,
Definitely are.
because they choose us to represent Colombia in a global competition. It's called Alibaba Get Global Challenge. They see the potential to reactivate the economy, the local economy, and to help us as citizens to save our health because we don't need to go out to buy stuff. So yeah, I am very excited. This project is called Tu Tiendecita. You can watch in my social media. I have been posting what people have been talking about and everything.
Yeah, I mean, you have a crazy busy schedule these days. I mean, the weekends aren't even free with Yuta and Sita on the like working and all of that. You know, this is the inspiration for this project is so wholesome. To be honest, just you started out by trying to help your grandparents, and later it has just grown in potential to literally helping every citizen in a country and possibly worldwide. I mean, this is something that we can see being of use here as well. So I mean, all of us see problems in our day-to-day lives, right? But you saw one, you identified it, and you moved towards a solution. So how does that process work?
Mm, it's by feelings in a way, but also by looking in fact. Like I was interested, as you say, at first to help my grandparents because it's sad to see them. For me, it's very sad to see them suffering during this pandemic because they need to continue to pay rent, to pay stuff. And I decide, okay, what is the best way to do it? I see a common value that is that people who have small business normally don't have a lot of access to technology, don't understand a lot that process. So let's simplify that project. And I say, okay, let's start small. Let's solve a problem for a group of people. And after that, if that worked, pilot project work, we are going to make it bigger. And that's how I start all the projects. I try to solve locally
Hmm.
and uh, grow step by step. Because like that, you can understand more. Like what we did with Tu Tiendecita was to call every small business owner in Barranquilla. We
Hmm.
are still calling, but call them to understand their problematics right now, present what we have, and listen to see if that's something that interests them and to solve their problems. And like that, we adapt the solution by listening to them. So you need to solve any problem. You need to connect with people who are suffering for that problem, or you need to have a special connection because if not, you are going to lose interest.
That's
Yeah. Wow.
rare occasions. I'm speechless.
But this is just it's amazing. I think since a lot of your work is based on your empathy for those around you, there is always a certain passion to every project that you have. And it's amazing how for you the process of actually going forward with it matters more than where it's going to reach. I mean, because if you look at a lot of entrepreneurs today, rather than first starting local and then going expanding and scaling along the way, they just want to jump and have the biggest thing quickly. So I mean,
Exactly.
for you, I really sense that for you the work is its own reward, and
Yeah,
that's something that's very rare.
It
uh,
is.
that's my way to process. I know that there is not the only way. You know that it depends what is your goal and what is your purpose. Uh, but I am sharing mine. I am sure that there is different way and different kind of personality too. So it's okay.
Yeah, but this is very, very inspiring considering all of us here are university students and we've gotten into this program. The ones I don't know, the people that came in recently during the pandemic maybe have felt it more than we did when we recently joined. But this is a safe space which gives us a sense of belonging. But it also gives us motivation to do better because we look at all these people doing so much. I mean, you've been doing all of this since high school, and I had no idea what I wanted to do in high school. I had absolutely no idea that I was even going to go into technology, right? So we have everybody has their own journeys, and we have our ups and downs, our decisions, maybe some things that we do that we wish we hadn't. So, do you have any decisions or things that you've done that you feel like, or maybe something that you've missed out on? Any of those things that you've had in your experience so far?
Obviously, I believe that we all have some experience that we would love to have done, or something that we would love to don't do it. But I believe that each experience have bring me where I am right now, because the lesson that you got from your fails is what have make me stronger. That make me understand how things work. That in other way probably it wasn't work. Um, or I wasn't learning. I learned that there are certain things that are in the book that don't work in the same way as we are doing in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, to do that, you need to apply. You need to first learn and after apply. But something that I regret is to didn't learn how to code early on, because as I say, I learned English or French when I came to Canada, but learn how to talk with the with your computer is something that connects you globally, and is very powerful. So
Mm-hmm.
I believe that we need to. In my case, I will have loved to learn how to program before, but
Mm-hmm.
what I am doing right now is to try to share that lesson with my little sister, who is a boss programming right now, and very intelligent, and it's just 13. So I try to like, okay, the mistake that I made, let's try to share it to others so they don't do the same if they want to listen.
Yeah, I mean, having said that, can't not say this. I follow your siblings page on Instagram, and I'm a fan of your sisters as well.
That
she's
gives us
she's amazing.
complex. The
Yeah.
Diaz sibling gives us complex, to be honest.
Complex
It's
and goals.
unbelievable. It's just
Yeah.
amazing. I mean,
Yeah,
With the cute smiley pictures as well.
I know.
We see such a great bonding there. The
yeah,
pictures. You really
you know,
have a bonding, but the pictures are even more mesmerizing.
No, I love
and
it because we share experience. Like she's a dancer, a ballet dancer, and she is very good doing stuff with her hands, like drawing and making projects with things in the home. So she
Mhm.
teach how to do that, and I teach her how to program or how to present or
Wow.
use different programs, and it's awesome. And we start to do the Diaz sibling account because people who knew us was like, oh, it's very cute. How can we learn that? So we did that as a side project. We say, okay, let's share
Mhm.
our my journey when we
Uh,
had with others. But I
yeah,
am
I
very
mean,
happy that inspired.
we see recipes, we see workouts, and we see programming lessons. So it's amazing. The
Yeah.
what amazing.
diversity is amazing too.
And looking at that page, I think with your journey and that page and everything, one thing I really sense is that for you, your family is a really important influence in your life.
So yeah.
Yeah.
With that, I'd like to add upon like who is your greatest inspiration, Anthony? We would like to know.
I will say my parents uh, because
Mhm.
they give me the values. Uh, they give me that way to think and overcome the problems, and I am very grateful for that.
And I think, in all honesty, if we look at it from an Indian perspective, the coolest thing is that they let you create your in school.
Yeah, to be honest, as you said, your teachers were against it, and yeah,
It is
that's like they supported
unbelievable.
that project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they always support me. They always bring me moral support for anything that I want to do. But obviously, uh, as India in Colombia is a similar culture, so they are like study first because you need to like have a future. uh, but after that, when you complete that, you can do other things. So for me, it's study first, but also I during the time I manage to have a schedule that allow me to do the project and to study.
And a big
Yeah,
point that comes in for us here, and this is something we all need advice on. Looking at your
time
external
management.
pursuits apart from your academics, how do you manage your schedule? Because, I mean, committing time to both those pursuits as well as your academics and successfully managing them both.
True.
How?
Uh, I will say is a try and error. I started when I
Mhm.
was in high school, so it had been a while that I have been testing what is my way to learn and my way to manage my time. But it's important to have a schedule. Like my calendar is full. Like I have different activities during the day, and I understood that I need to respect that time because if not,
Mhm.
if I am not respecting, after I will assume the consequence. You know. So yeah, trying and error. But uh, I will say everyone have his own habits. When I start in high school, I start to reading those articles that say like you need to wake up at 5 a.m. or does CEO do that diet? Does CEO do that thing? But at the end of the day, you are you, they are they. So you should not copy what others do. If that doesn't help you, you need to do your own thing that help you to to be happy and to be productive.
Mm-hmm. Well, like what, as you said, we shouldn't copy somebody, but we always look for inspiration from people that have it right. So, what works for you when it comes to managing your time?
Uh, I try to not put too much pressure in a day. I make, for example, I don't know if I can show you a bit, but I have in my mirror,
Mm-hmm.
I write what are my goals for the day. Uh,
Oh.
and I put a list of, okay, what I need, what I have, what is needed to be done today.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, After I finish all those stuff during the day, I
Mm-hmm.
procrastinate. Let's be honest. You cannot do everything and be productive all the time. So I finish, that's my priority. And when I finish, I start to procrastinate. I start to play games with my family. I start to talk with my friends. I don't use Netflix or play video games, but I start to watch YouTube videos because I like to watch tutorials. But
Mm-hmm.
if not, I'm playing with my sister or playing with my parents. So yeah, that's it.
Well, we had a follow-up question in the live chat on this discussion we've been having on time management. It's like that's a great way to manage your time and a great way to remind yourself that you can't work all day every day, right? But there's a lot of days for a lot of us when we can't bring ourselves to work the bare minimum as well. That sometimes there's a motivation lacking. So, what is that something that gives you motivation to get up and get to work? Like, how do you keep that motivation level high? Or as
uh,
we would, or as we would say, because of a recent Bollywood movie, how do you keep the Josh really high?
it's to understand what is the goal behind that task. So, for example, for Tutti and Zita, I'm doing because I know that if there is more people who are involved, uh, it will potentially help more to my grandparents. So that's my motivation. Uh, for school, I know if I learn how to program, I can be more independent. So
Mhm.
I mean, I like to work in teams, but sometimes I need to make some things happen, and if I depend on others, it will make the process longer. Yeah, so try to find what is the goal behind that task and why it's so important for you.
Yeah, definitely. And
That's
but
something I'm gonna start doing.
another thing that comes
1%.
in with us at times is that even if you have your goal and you're working towards it, you're doing it for the right reasons, but sometimes you just do get burnt out every once in a while. That will happen. And I mean, how do you deal with that? Because it's one thing, when you're doing the right thing, you have the right motivations, and you're still too tired to do anything. How do you deal with that?
Mm, well, that's something that I learned during the time because, to be honest, I had a burnout before, and it was not cool. Uh, and
Yeah.
so, something that I would recommend you to do is to take pause. Like, if you feel that you need to sleep, go to sleep. Uh, make a stop to everything and go to sleep. Because if your health is not good, well, the rest doesn't matter. Uh,
True.
so I understood that. Uh, I understood that lesson after you when, to be honest, I put everything on the risk. I say, okay, I need to do this, and if I don't sleep, it's okay. Let's continue to work. But the next day, I saw that some of the work that I have done, it was not right because I was already sleepy. I was already tired. And after that, I say to myself, okay, I need to make sure that my health is okay. I need to make sure that my body is working fine and not only my brain. So it's to
Yeah,
make that balance that is not
Health
50
is wealth.
it's not 50-50 to everyone. You need to find
Mhm.
your balance.
yeah,
True. We did have a question again in the live chat asking about your sleep schedule, even though just saying what you just said makes me justify all my 2 hour naps throughout the day. Thanks for that.
like, seriously, how do you find the time to sleep with so much stuff happening?
Yeah.
For the sleep schedule, it depends. Like I try to respect the time and to sleep at 11 uh, and to wake up early because what can I say? I have always been someone who like to work in the morning. I
Ah,
feel more productive in the morning. But other than that, if I need to make something, for example, 2 days ago, I sleep at 3 a.m. because I need to finish a presentation for Tu Tiendecita. Well, let's do it. Uh, but during the day, if I have a pause and I feel tired, like yesterday, I take a nap. So to make sure that you don't burn out yourself.
yeah,
Hmm.
very, very necessary.
Yeah.
And
What would you recommend to a tech student who is thinking of jumping towards entrepreneurship and business, Anthony? What would your advices be?
One advice would be to
To a tech student who is trying to jump into business and entrepreneurship.
I would say see around what is see around to see what are the problems who surround you and that are meaningful to solve because we as MSP we have an opportunity to know a lot of things about technology, but also about, for example, Microsoft to learn new things about Microsoft before they are released to the world. That if we use in a good way, it can have a growing impact in the world. So not do it another thing, not do it the thing just for the money because being an entrepreneur is hard and sometimes you sometimes it will be up and down. So if the money is your only motivation, you will get tired and you will find that it's more easy to find a job than to make a project work.
Great
yeah,
advice.
like I think this is one thing that we all need to understand. It's not something you go to college and you learn that's how you do entrepreneurship. There's no one fixed way, and there's no one trick, no shortcut
Yeah,
to
but
it.
there's always it's always great to have somebody guiding you along the way and somebody that's been through the process. I mean,
Definitely.
in the program, I think everybody that wants to go towards entrepreneurship, they've got Antony. I mean, for somebody who's so successful and so accomplished in his own right, he's really humble and helpful. And I don't know, I can't find the right words at this moment because I'm so awestruck. But you how do you manage to stay so grounded? Because we're all just most of us, okay, no, I'll just talk about myself. I'm just a random university student trying to get to know people and find a place around here, and you help all these people. So how do you manage to stay so humble and grounded?
I will thanks my parents for that. because they not only teach me that lesson when I was young, but also they always question me uh, and make me realize that all the things, for example, when you were talking about the articles and the press who were around, that's only part of the process. That's not the goal. Um, if that's happening, it's because I am doing something right. So we just continue in that direction and not change. Uh, I mean, you need to grow, but not change. Your attitude don't change. What make you be you?
It's wonderful.
Foundations must always stay strong. That is so cool. I mean, it's just amazing. And we look at your journey. We've seen so many of we see so many of the ups, and this is something that always comes to us, is that we're all human at the end of the day. And even the point about humility, I'm sure there would have been some experience as well involved, and we all have our low points as well. So how would you define your low points? How would you define your failures? I mean, this is something that really it's a big thing for us, because um, a lot of us don't know how to deal with our own failures, in all honesty.
True. Yeah.
And it's okay. We are all learning how to deal with our failures, but something that I start to assume is for me, a failure is when you make a mistake and you don't learn from that mistake. So you continue to do the same mistake. Mm, it's normal that you have failures. And for me, right now, that's the opportunity uh, to understand your weakness and to understand uh, what are the lessons that you need to learn to progress. And if you
Mm-hmm.
don't try, you don't fail. Or if you don't try, you don't success. So you need to try something new. And you need to. I am sure that you have all listened about get out of your comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and yeah, I would recommend you to get out of your comfort zone, but to do it if you believe that it's worth it. And to do it, understanding what is the risk that you are assuming by doing it. So like that, you will be more reflexive when it will probably work or not work. And either way, it will be good.
So risk analysis is a very important part of your decision making. Uh, so, like, what all should one have in mind when they make decisions such as that? Risk analysis is definitely one of those. What else do you keep in mind when you're making difficult decisions in life?
Hmm. Something I keep in mind is first is why I am doing this. Uh, is it possible to overcome this problem and how? And to achieve is this aligned to my goals? It is aligned to what I want to do later. So that are the top three questions that I ask myself when I start a new project or when I am doing something and I have a lot of problem to achieve it. That's something that I ask myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's actually awesome, because when you take these questions into consideration, and they allow you to actually aspire for your dreams and push your own limits. And one thing, when we all try to explore our limits, we do face a lot of criticism along the way as well, be it from our peers, say our classmates, for example, our elders, for example, our teachers. How do you deal with this kind of criticism? Because they do at times have the best in of your interests in their minds as well, but there's a difference in perspectives too. So how do you deal with this kind of criticism?
Mm, I learned that you will always have criticism. Uh, and it will not be always constructive. So you need to. I learned to like listen and not assume that everything that people tell me is the right thing to do. So I listen, I try to take away what is good and to get away about what is not aligned with me. And the more you are like developing your project and things are going great, the more criticism you will receive. You need to be resilient.
Wow, just not get phased by it. Analyze the criticism and choose for
Mhm.
yourself. That's good advice and very very difficult to actually execute. To be honest, but yeah,
Resilience
that's
requires perseverance.
very true, and a ton of courage.
Hmm.
That's, that's actually awesome. Another thing that often, this is something I've been thinking about. You had UVolt, you had a lot of these projects that you worked on. Did you ever consider activities like the Imagine Cup, for example? Because I mean, for looking at the perspective from MSPs, Imagine Cup is one of the greatest possible opportunities any of us can get. So, did you ever think about such opportunities back then?
To be honest, at that time I didn't know about the Imagine Cup, but since I joined the MSP team here in Canada, I have been preaching, I have been sharing to my fellow students, entrepreneurs, and my colleagues to be part of this competition because it's a great learning opportunity. As I say, with as the MSP program to connect with other innovators in the world around the world, to share your idea and to get feedback from them and to win a lot of exposure that will give you money, will give you mentorship, and will give you opportunity to concretize your project. So that's amazing. Last year, I had the pleasure to be in Seattle to be part of the MSP or the Imagine Cup Global Final. So it allowed me to have conversation with the winner and also with the finalists to understand what was the impact in their life, and
Hmm.
it made me more happy to continue to share this competition to other people because I see that there is a good impact.
Yeah, I mean, just a few days before build, I think all of us saw pictures of you and
Yeah.
Satya Nadella on
I
your
saw
social
the
media.
video. Yeah, I watched the 2019 finals and I'm like, okay, that's Antony there. And I mean, getting the opportunity to go to the Imagine Cup World Finals and build is in itself just wow. So how did that happen? I mean, going to build because I mean, until recently, it wasn't as open an event. It was a very exclusive event.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah, I received the invitation because of my involvement to the MSP program. I was invited by the team here in Canada to go to the Microsoft America Summit. And after this summit was MS Build and the Imagine Cup final. And it was an incredible opportunity because it allowed me to connect with MSP from different parts of all the America continent. And as you know, I'm from Colombia, so I speak Spanish, I speak English and French. So we start to talk about how we can connect and do events for all the continents, taking note that we share the same time zone. Um, and yeah, it was a great opportunity to meet other MSP, to connect with the people on MS Build, um, even to meet Satya.
Ah,
Satya.
That must have been dreamlike.
I remember just before build, you put up that picture, and yeah, I
Oh,
Yes,
mean,
Anthony, we
yeah.
would like to know what your future plans are. Like, what would you do after this COVID
Oops,
ends?
sorry. Is a is the video okay? I think it was a
all
problem.
right, it's okay.
Uh,
Uh, mhm.
Anasya asked what your future plans were after the the
COVID ends.
pandemic, the COVID, yeah,
Mhm.
After what? Sorry.
the
Once
COVID situation.
after the coronavirus situation, what are your future plans?
Uh, my future plans, it will be as I am right now. I am studying more about data science uh, to understand a bit how artificial intelligence works. Um, During this pandemic, we have seen that the technology uh, to connect us will make a part to make our work better. It's a great opportunity to do that.
Mm-hmm,
So if I am still studying, I want to make my contribution, like my little contribution, using what I have been learning during this time. Um, that's uh, that's what I am doing, for example, with Tu Tiendecita, but also that's what I am trying to do with the all the workshop that I am assisting, making by you guys, the global community, and to later on continue to work in the technology field.
mm-hmm. I mean, you did mention, doing multiple things at a time. It reminded me of a certain program that you and your sister are a part of. Um, the name
Technovation,
just slips my mind.
Sure,
Technovation, I think.
it's called
Technovation,
technology.
yeah, yeah. So how did
I
you get involved with that?
I highly recommend you to check out Technovation if you have a, a girl in your family who could be potentially interested in technology or in science or in business. Why? Because Technovation is a program that teach young girls how to create a project in the business side, but also how to program by having mentors from tech companies, and it's in partnership with Google. It's a global competition. So girls from all around the world uh, create a project during 1 year solving a community problem that they find in their space. And this is my second year being part of Technovation. And it's my second year being a mentor for my sister team. It's very cool because it's also a special connection for me to be able to share this experience with my sister and to coach them when she needed. And
Definitely.
I believe it's a great opportunity to make girls more knowledge about the STM and
Mm-hmm.
more people interested in technology later.
Yeah.
Amazing. Um, we
I
had a
mean,
question in the live chat from Ekansh, which is,
yeah.
what was your first breakthrough? When was your first major breakthrough in your career?
As per
What would
your
you call?
perspective,
Yeah, what
because
would
I
you
mean,
call?
as per your perspective.
Hmm. I would say that moving to Canada was my first like break point because in Colombia I used to do a lot of math competition. I don't know if you're familiar with Olympiad math competition. And
Yeah. I
Uh,
mean, we've seen a lot of your exploits with math. I mean, looking at maybe, the Olympiads or the University of Waterloo exams.
yeah,
Yeah,
when I came to Canada, it was like, okay, you don't speak English, you don't speak French, so neither your certification or medal will help you. You need to first learn the language. And it was like the first time that I was like, okay, I need to put my my foot on the ground and to start over, but
yeah,
not start over, but to using what I have been learning when I was in Colombia and learning new things. That was the moment when I start to be a little more extrovert because I was very introvert, very timid, and I start to try new things as doing radio, as doing musical theater, and other things that help me to be who I am right now.
yeah. And your exploits with math is something that those are things that we've all seen so often. Because I mean, if I look at your love for math, the Waterloo exams, even I have tried those. I'm also a certificate holder for Kaylee and for math, so I know how the standard that they try to uphold. And that really brings me to how your journey with math came on. Because as much as we talk about loving math, I think to some extent we also fear it at times. So how did your journey with that really come on together?
With math, do you mean?
Yeah. um, how
I
did your
mean,
maths develop like to such an extent?
I mean, math for me, I got a big inspiration when I was younger because there is a student uh, that used to give us a free tutor in my school, in my high school in Colombia, and he teaches us that solving a math problem, eh, the beauty of solving a problem is not the solution but the process. And I start to love in the process because
Wow.
there is a lot of way to solve a same problem, but the goal of a mathematician is to find a simple and beautiful solution for the same problem. And yeah, I fall in love in the
That's
process
really
of
good
solving
way
problems.
about looking at it. I mean, because a lot of times, when we look at India's education system, at least, we talk about our competitive exams. We're learning how to speed through, how to skip steps, finding shortcuts to get those answers. But in the middle of all of this, we forget to fall in love with the process.
Yeah, and it's important to do the long process to understand the beauty, to understand what is so cool to know the short process.
Absolutely. That's amazing. We had another very cool question in the live chat. So, looking at your past projects, like for example, UVolt, um, looking at it from the perspective of someone who is pursuing electrical engineering, it is an extremely fascinating product,
Product, yeah.
in all honesty, because a watch that can charge your phone,
That's
that's cool.
insane.
So, um, how could someone, I mean, is it possible for someone to get involved in it now, or what is the future with that product? Because this is something that can, people would really love to work with, in all honesty.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, for those who want to see what is the opportunity to work with me in UWorld, I will get my contact and we can keep the conversation to share collaborations. But
Yeah, we'll most likely be putting LinkedIn and Twitter of Antony's in the description, so you can find him there anytime.
sure,
Definitely.
Yeah.
sure.
That's
Also, I will get my email
Hmm.
This is so
so
cool.
you
You're sitting
can
on a live
contact
stream
me.
and you find a prospective work opportunity.
That will tell more people to come and attend unfiltered sessions.
And ask the right questions. And here we have Anthony's email address, so you can reach out to him on that in case you're interested um, and working with him on U Volt. Definitely. It's also
Mhm.
available in the live chat, so you can check it out there as well. Yeah, that's so cool. I mean, wow.
Uh-huh. I when I said it'll tell more people to come and tune into Unfiltered and ask the right questions, it's just been running through my head what we have planned for next week.
Oh, oh, oh. Let's
That
not
will be
let
a
the cat
secret.
out of the bag right now.
I see.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I see that Dawood was asking about what I think about how I feel about MLSA, about Microsoft Student Ambassador.
Mhm.
Oh,
The
sorry,
rebranding,
about
essentially,
the
it's a canch. Yeah.
can't.
Yeah,
I would say it will be a great opportunity to have exposure uh, to not uh, to share or how can I say to share our portfolio uh, with other student ambassadors. So like that, we can all see who share our interests, and we can filter in a best way how we can help each other. If anyone have the knowledge that I need to use for to solve a certain problem. Also, it's very cool. I was watching the lessons that they are making available soon for
maybe
everyone.
I think. Yeah,
And it's pretty cool because we will have access to certifications, so to keep learning. Uh,
Hmm.
we have access to all the people who are part of the program, so to keep connecting, and we will have the opportunity to share our events in the Microsoft official platform. So it will be a
wow,
great opportunity to share and
definitely.
make it more proper.
I think it does add some amount of structure to the program, a little more, and that can
Also
always
adds to one of
benefit.
the also adds to one of the main objectives of the program, learning. It's put into the title now. We're Learn Student Ambassadors.
Yeah, and
So
we've been working with the Microsoft Learn platform since we've joined. A big part of the program is to continuously learn apart from just, conduct events and all. So it's
it's
definitely
mainly
something that,
learning and sharing what you learn.
yeah.
So
So that's gonna be a good, I think yeah, it's gonna be good for the new people who's gonna join in the program. Definitely.
Yeah,
yeah.
and guys, if you in the comments, those who are watching, if you have any question, don't be shy. It will be my pleasure.
Yeah, no
You know,
questions are silly questions. In
yeah.
fact, I think we've asked the silly ones already.
I think we have a few silly ones left. So, I think in all honesty, some of the topics we've been considering, yeah, they're nice, serious topics having a bit of gravity. So I think let's get to some of the lighter topics. So one question that we've been getting continuously, Anthony, we've just got to know you're a very good salsa dancer.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Somebody asked
yeah,
for salsa lessons in the.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
It
the
was
point
Ganesh
I
who
I
asked
remember
correct.
in the
about
beginning,
his favorite
new
salsa dancer.
daily, in the beginning of the new daily presentation, I I had the opportunity to dance an Indian song.
Wow. So,
Wow.
salsa is another possible opportunity for the future, another future plan.
No, I
As I
feel like
was,
it's just a part of the perfection that we've been. I mean, I
Just
feel like writing the.
consistently. Yeah.
I mean, oh, somebody's. Oh, wow, right. I mean, when I was writing the caption or the promotional messages, I couldn't find a more fitting adjective than awe-inspiring, and I can't find one even right now. It's just we're all in awe of the ideologies and the balance that you maintain between your work life and your personal life, to be honest. To which Ekansh asks, workout routine. You do work out quite a lot, as you see.
Your workout clips on the Instagram stories is that gives us complex every single time we see
Can't say
them.
motivation because then we'd have to work on them. So yeah, they give us
Yeah,
complex.
Oh, yeah. It's important to maintain that balance. I am grateful to have special people in my life who make me always make sure that I am not only studying or I am not only like doing my project, but also doing workout or doing other stuff that
yeah,
you know that they are very important.
Yeah, the
We have
workout. I think you and
another.
your sister work out together.
We also have another
So
interesting question. That's from Ekans. How did you learn to barbecue,
you
Anthony?
can't
But
be asking a lot of good questions today.
okay, guys, so
uh-huh.
you
How
watch
did you
all
learn
my
to
Instagram
barbecue?
stories.
We follow them very closely. It's pretty barbecue.
And your cooking skills give us goals, to be honest.
Very true.
No, I'm
Honestly,
happy.
me personally, I'm looking forward to all the programming tutorials that you take polls on. Like, do you want a programming tutorial on that? I always say yes. So I'm looking forward to those.
Yeah,
Well, so something that I am trying to do uh, is to write articles here, to write article in my website. So sharing in the blog some news about the project that I am working, what is the update of them, and not also to say what I am doing, but also what I am using and how can you do it too.
Hmm.
Because, for example, going back to Tiendecita, it's a project that will benefit the local economy and will benefit a lot of families during this pandemic. But it's a project that can be replicated in other part of the world, like India, where I saw that there is a lot of small commerce around the city in New Delhi that could be
Hmm.
benefits from the WhatsApp bot to connect with the residents of the city and to connect with people who are very near to them.
That's true. I mean, in this pandemic, we've seen a lot of vendors going door to door, and instead from like the shops, they've been selling and getting things to us. So WhatsApp bot would definitely make it much easier for us as well, that we can attest to. So this is brings this is a newsflash opportunity kind of thing. We can
yeah,
actually we can talk about this a lot more about
definitely.
this later. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Could be an opportunity. Could be an initiative where MSP from different part of the world can work to make it happen in their own country.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
customize it for the locality and make it more accessible. Yeah.
And making, and as I say for my presentations, and making sure that it solves the problematic that is happening in that region because we need to adapt depending of what is happening, what is the context.
yeah, definitely. I
We
mean, these
have.
are very real problems, and just one small step in the right direction makes a big difference.
Mm,
It sure does.
definitely does.
We have Dahoud who has mentioned like, oh, I missed the opportunity to meet Anthony. Hopefully someday. Do you have anything to add on to that?
Oh, I would love to meet him too. I believe he is doing a great job uh, working with the global community. He's very active, and I follow his work. So I am happy to hear about him, and
That's cool.
I hope I can fly around soon. So I have the opportunity
Yeah.
I'm sure you miss the flying around a lot.
to.
Yeah,
But thank
that's
you
what.
guys. Thank you so much for this time. It has been a pleasure and as I already shared, you can contact me. I am open to talk with anyone who want maybe to collaborate for your world or to collaborate with Tu Tiendecita right now during this pandemic, or even who want to make a collaboration and share a tutorial for something that we connect. Uh, we can do it.
It's
Yeah, we
amazing. I
sure
mean,
can.
we've had we've had such a great time and we've spoken about so many things. And I feel like if we weren't, we've been speaking for around an hour and a half already. And that seems like a good enough length for an episode. If it wasn't, we'd keep going, or we'll most likely need a second episode with Anthony.
Yeah. In all
Whenever
honesty.
he's free. Yeah. So
You
it's
know,
been great.
yeah.
Mhm.
I think we just look at the questions on the live chat once more because Ekansh again has brought up a very, very good question. Um, I think this we've
Yeah.
discussed at times as well, but what is your inspiration to do something new?
Uh, as I say at the beginning, my inspiration is
Parents.
it is depending. For example, for Tu Tiendecita, I was saying my inspiration is to be able to help my grandparents during these tough times. For Yuval was to bring something that can adapt the renewable energy in our everyday life and can sensibilize more. So it depends. Each project has his own goal, and I try to first make sure why I am doing this before I start to do it.
You know, Antony is truly in the sense of the phrase a problem solver. He finds a problem, he
Yeah.
solves it. Doesn't matter how he finds it, but if he finds it, he solves it.
If
Yeah.
he finds it solvable and if he finds the problem big enough, there's a solution. I mean, I
Yeah.
definitely wouldn't have thought of a chatbot for local
WhatsApp. Yeah.
businesses.
Not
Yeah,
even
a WhatsApp chatbot. It's very easy and handy and stuff. So yeah, we've learned a
and I
lot
mean,
today,
you've
and
got a
in the
great
process, hmm I think we've learned a lot, not just today, in the process of bringing this story to you. And we hope that all of you have learned and taken away as much as we have, because this
Mhm.
is amazing. We're just keeping it open to any more questions if there are any. I think, yeah, that's about it. And this
I
has
mean, even
been
if someone has any queries, but you can't come up now, or if it's not possible, Anthony is always available to reach out to. His Twitter and LinkedIn are both available in the chat along with his email address, and we'll definitely put that in the comments or the description box
on the description of
for,
the video. Yeah.
so that anyone
So
can reach. So yeah,
thank
it's
you.
been legit epic,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we just hope to keep seeing your journey as it progresses. I mean, that in itself is a big inspiration.
Thank you
True.
very much, guys.
Yes.
Uh,
Thank you. Thank
thank
you
you.
for your time, because of this the busy schedule and the presentations and everything that you have going with
Mhm.
Yutendra Sita. And thank you for joining us today and sharing your journey with us. We're very
Yeah.
grateful.
It's my
And
pleasure.
thank you to everyone for tuning in and staying up with us until the very end. Please hit that like button if you liked today's episode. Also, make sure that you have subscribed if you haven't already. And let us know on whom you would want next in our channel. Plus, we would love to have feedbacks from each one of you. So please fill out the feedback forms as well. It will really mean a lot to us.
Or leave your
Speaking
feedback in the
of,
comments.
yeah,
Yeah,
comments about.
that's even cool.
And speaking
Yeah.
of whom you'd all want next, we have something really, really big coming up next weekend.
So stay
So do
tuned.
stay tuned. And
We're all
yeah,
just, all four of us at this moment are just like, we're not allowed to say it. We're not allowed to say it. So
yeah,
yeah, we'll definitely be announcing soon. Stay
yeah.
tuned.
Stay
Okay,
tuned.
Ekans is like obsessed with Anthony. He's like his Instagram is lit.
It is. It definitely is. Can't deny that. So yeah,
Yeah,
thanks a
that's
lot for
true.
tuning in.
In all honesty, we've just displayed it by talking for so long.
We've spoken about the Instagram almost as much as we've spoken about other things. Yeah, I think we
Thank you very
can.
much, guys. Let's keep connect. And I am
Yeah.
very happy to be able to announce next weekend. What is
Okay, maybe let's just do this. Let's have Antony announce who we have next weekend. It'll be fun.
I think we might just end up giving a few viewers a heart attack. So, I mean,
No, let's do this.
let's build it up. Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
something like a bonus round it would be.
Yeah, like let's all
Let's run a
go
poll.
ahead.
Let's see who can guess who's coming on.
Oh, uh, I think we're running a little short on time for that. So let's just run a poll on
Maybe.
Twitter later. Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you. Thank you. Thanks a lot for joining us today, Anthony. Thanks a lot to all our audience for tuning in today. We hope to see you this Sunday with something really huge. We hope you
Yeah.
love it as much as we do. So yeah,
Yeah.
stay tuned. Bye bye. Good night. Good day. Thank you. Thanks a
Bye.
lot.
Bye.